An under-the-radar offensive weapon is absolutely showing out at NovaCare right now. Our franchise quarterback is building serious chemistry with a young target who keeps cooking top defensive backs in coverage. The quiet camp hype is getting real loud for this guy. Smash that subscribe button for daily updates on your beloved birds. Darius Cooper is officially making his move. The wide receiver, who grinded his way here as an undrafted rookie out of Tarleton State, took a massive leap on Monday by practicing with our first-team offense. Seeing a guy who fought for his spot on the 53-man roster last season now running with the starters is the kind of grit we love in Philadelphia. Last year, Cooper flashed potential across 212 offensive snaps, reeling in 9 of 11 targets for 92 yards. Now he is clearly pushing for more. During Monday's session, he proved he belongs, consistently creating separation against defensive backs like Rick Woolen and Cooper DeJean, while Jalen Hurts kept finding him for key completions. Think about it this way. When a quarterback like Hurts explicitly points to a receiver as his standout guy during media sessions, you know the chemistry is becoming something real. Eagles insider Elliot Shore-Parks has already labeled Cooper the third best receiver on the squad, slotting him right behind Devonta Smith and Dontavion Wicks. For us fans, watching a former undrafted underdog climb the depth chart by earning the direct trust of our franchise quarterback is incredibly rewarding. It shows that hard work during training camp does not just go unnoticed, but actually dictates the pecking order on the field. The big question remaining is how this newfound status changes the rotation once we hit the regular season. Will this rapport with Hurts force Nick Sirianni to adjust his primary personnel packages? Or is Cooper destined to remain a situational weapon? We have seen plenty of camp stars fizzle out, so I have to ask, does this specific chemistry with our quarterback prove he is ready for a breakout role this year? Or is this just a momentary bright spot in summer? The journey for Darius Cooper represents a classic underdog climb, proving that persistence within our organization actually pays dividends when opportunities align. After surviving the cut as an undrafted rookie from Tarleton State, Cooper managed to secure a spot on the 53-man roster last season, demonstrating enough poise to handle 212 offensive snaps. During those appearances, he efficiently maximized his limited chances, securing 9 of his 11 targets for 92 yards. That specific efficiency likely caught the front office attention, as maintaining such a high completion-to-target ratio is rarely an accident for a newcomer. Here is where it gets interesting. Moving a player into the first-team offense isn't just a reward for good play, but a clear signal that the coaching staff considers him a functional piece of the primary game plan moving forward. Does this suggest a shift in how Nick Sirianni intends to rotate his personnel in the upcoming weeks? We have seen countless prospects flash potential during summer months, yet few possess the specific rapport with our starting quarterback that Cooper is clearly developing right now. When you consider that his growth is occurring despite intense pressure from seasoned defensive talent, his trajectory becomes even more notable. Honestly, my reaction is that seeing him consistently targeted by Jalen Hurts tells me all I need to know about his status behind Devonta Smith and Dontavion Wicks. If you were sitting in the front office, would you ignore a low-cost contributor who is already demanding targets from your most important player? The internal logic here seems simple enough, as they are banking on the chemistry that has clearly been built through repetition and trust. Watching his progression from a fringe roster candidate to a primary weapon suggests that our team philosophy regarding development is working exactly as intended on the practice field today. Now that we have covered the basic report, let us dive into what this shift signifies for our roster and the immediate road ahead. This development matters because slotting an undrafted talent into first-team repetitions signals a shift in how we handle our wide receiver depth chart during these final weeks of preparation. Seeing a player like Darius Cooper, who survived the cut after playing just over 200 snaps last year, suddenly earning trust from the starting quarterback changes the math entirely for every other pass catcher trying to secure a final spot. And the more I look at this, the clearer it becomes that his presence on the field against starting cornerbacks like Rick Woolen and Cooper DeJean is designed to test his ceiling under real game-like pressure. Does this move effectively cement his role as our primary third option behind Devonta Smith and Dontavion Wicks? If Jalen Hurts is going to him repeatedly during high-intensity sessions, it suggests we are moving away from relying solely on established veterans. This transition is not just about one practice session. It points to a specific plan to integrate his speed into packages that keep opposing defenses guessing. When we look at upcoming matchups, having a reliable third target who already holds the trust of our signal caller provides us with a massive advantage against division rivals, who might still be shuffling their own defensive backfields. Can a player with his specific history hold up over a full stretch of regular season games? Or will the physical toll limit his output? That remains the biggest question for the staff, but his trajectory today indicates we are gambling on his growth. Elevating Darius Cooper to the first-team offense demonstrates a clear tactical commitment from Nick Sirianni to reward production over draft status. When a player transitions from undrafted obscurity to lining up against top-tier cornerbacks like Rick Woolen, the coaching staff is signaling that his 212 snap sample size was no fluke. This is where it gets real, because the upside here is high. You gain a reliable target who has clearly earned the trust of Jalen Hurts during high-stakes sessions. However, we must consider the downside of relying on such a young, relatively unproven talent. Can Cooper sustain this level of output once the regular season begins and defensive coordinators start building schemes specifically to stop him? It is a valid concern for any fan worried about a sophomore slump following a productive rookie start. Analysts and league observers are already weighing in, with Elliott Shore-Parks identifying him as our legitimate third-best option behind Devonta Smith and Dontayvion Wicks. That specific ranking feels like a massive endorsement, though I find myself slightly skeptical about rushing to crown anyone this early in August. While it is exciting to see him catching passes during Monday's drills, I wonder if we are placing too much pressure on a player who still has to prove he can handle a full professional workload. My honest take here is that while the connection with Hurts is undeniable, we should keep our expectations grounded until we see how he performs under the bright lights of a real game. Integrating him into the primary rotation could transform our aerial attack, but only if he avoids the inevitable rookie year fatigue that often haunts undrafted players. Do you believe this chemistry is sustainable, or are we just watching a summer flash in the pan that will fade come September? Seeing the big picture from these practice reports, it becomes clear that we are witnessing the start of a genuine shift in our offensive roster philosophy that could define this group for seasons to come. Let's be real, seeing a player like Darius Cooper, who initially fought for his spot as an undrafted rookie out of Tarleton State, now grabbing consistent reps with the starters is the kind of development that keeps a franchise from going stagnant. We should feel confident and excited about this progress because it proves our talent evaluation process is functioning at a high level. When Jalen Hurts relies on a guy like Cooper during high-stakes drills against defensive backs like Rick Woolen and Cooper DeJean, it signifies a level of trust that simply cannot be manufactured through coaching alone. His 212 snaps last year served as a quiet foundation, and now that work is paying off as he secures his place behind Devonta Smith and Dontayvion Wicks in our pecking order. This is not just a summer highlight, but a testament to what happens when internal competition drives a team forward. If he maintains this trajectory, he could effectively solve our depth issues, providing a reliable target when opponents focus their attention elsewhere.